Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 12 ingredients of a successful sales incentive program. Now, this is the first in a series of 3, which also includes virtual and socially distanced team building events and virtual and hybrid conferencing. Now, by way of introduction, my name is Victor Tardieu, and I run Full Circle Motivation, an agency specializing in sales incentive programs, conference production, team building events, and video production. Now, our program today lasts around 30 minutes and runs through the 12 key ingredients of a program, with examples, of course. It explains how, by incorporating these ingredients, you can improve sales by 13% over target. It then reviews a 5-year case study, and finally, aims to answer any questions you might have. Actually, may I ask you to text through any questions as you think of them throughout the course of the presentation. And just so you are au fait with what will happen there, you will notice when you mouse over, you will notice at the bottom of your screen there is a chat box, and if you press that, a window will open to the right-hand side of your screen, and you can type your question in that window. And I would suggest that you actually send it to all, then people can see the questions that are coming through. Now, you will no doubt be considering getting back into sales mode after national and local lockdowns. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen with you. So hopefully this all works seamlessly. So here we go. Point 1, consult with participants to get buy-in. We never impose a sales improvement program. It is better to get buy-in because, when we do, every participant will feel that they have made a contribution and therefore will own it, promote it, and work it. So we recommend a pupil-parent-teacher consultation period, despite the fact that we may already know the outcome. The only constant in life is change, but employees can resist change. So we need to set out the company strategy, communicate what is changing and how it benefits the organization and the individual, personalize the tasks, set measurable goals, and let individuals know how they will be held accountable. If appropriate, let the individuals take part in defining the objectives. Follow up. Over-communicate by 1,000%. Be emphatic and ensure that everyone is clear about their future mission. Nip resistance in the bud. You will always get resistance, but you don't want unhappy employees poisoning the minds of other employees who have already bought in. And finally, be prepared to change. Assuming you have the right strategy and people, listen to them and change your tactics to keep your strategy on course. Point 2, create a dynamic theme for the incentive program. A powerful theme is really important. Why? Because it is the rallying call, the banner, under which the entire program will hang. For example, if your company is travel-based or a vehicle sales organization wishing to improve sales, a theme for you could be, let's make tracks, meaning let's get going and make sales and do it now. Or, if you have a time-related incentive, the theme could be, every day counts. Or indeed a profit-based incentive, where the theme there could be margin masters. themes must carry some relevance and urgency. Point 3. Cascade launched the programme for efficacy. Getting all participants and managers together for one big launch is the most impactful way to launch any sales incentive programme, but not the most practical from a business point of view. We can't take 100 or more salespeople out of the business for a day or two. So we would recommend a cascade launch because, as each level of management presents to the next, they must really know and understand the programme in order to present it convincingly and to answer questions. This is part of our strategy for getting management levels within the company engaged. Note, after the Cascade launch, there should be monthly or weekly teasers leading up to the launch date in order to build excitement. These examples were from a Spices incentive, which culminated in a trip to Bermuda. We got our local Bermudan contact to send personalised postcards to participants and follow that up with a motivational message in a bottle, which also contained pink Bermudan sand. Point 4. Set the measurement level and currency. If the theme is, for example, let's make tracks, then the unit of currency for participants could be points, or better still, miles. The more miles participants earn, the further they can go towards monthly awards and the ultimate end of programme award. Or if the theme is every day counts, the unit of currency could be seconds. If you can, make the unit of currency appropriate to the theme. To create a level playing field, participants should be measured on percentage improvement over target. But we must first set the target and the measures, which means we must pre-measure participants covertly over the 3 months prior to the launch of the programme, or over the same period the previous year, in order to set the targets at the right level for each participant. Point 5. Create the measurement structure. Measurement is the second most important element of a sales incentive programme, behind communication. It is important, so it must be structured properly, like this. Measurement of participants by site, measurement by district, measurement by region, measurement nationally, and measurement by performance band across the business. Again, based on the theme, let's make tracks, measures could be miles linked to salesperson sales, miles linked to key task assessment by the district manager or regional manager, miles linked to distance learning questionnaire performance, miles linked to customer feedback, miles linked to mystery shopper feedback. All miles are then added and put into a unique bank account for each participant to spend. Sales and other data should be fed into the system on a weekly basis. Then updates for participants will be available online by 12 noon on the Monday on their unique website page. It's true to say that what gets measured gets done. Point 6, the power of self-registration into the programme. Participants are required to register into the programme. This process cements their commitment to take part and to adhere to the terms of the programme. If they don't register by the required date, they will not be eligible to take part. It's tough, but those are the rules. Registration information is to include name, site, title, payroll number, email. You may already have this input data, but it is important to get participants to engage. If they don't engage, they're out. This is also a cross-check of information because you will be surprised how inaccurate some companies' payroll information can be. Participants automatically get points for just registering because we need to get them on the reward ladder early. Point 7. Incentive Launch Pack ensures uniform communication. The launch pack for each manager presenting, i.e. board members and regional managers, includes a USB or DVD of the PowerPoint presentation, a script crib sheet in hard copy form showing specific text against specific slides, and also this is available electronically. Launch brochures, a Q&A sheet for managers to rehearse answers to potential questions. And each presentation level also gets a package containing sufficient launch brochures to hand on to the next level of participants. It's important that the hard copy brochure is taken home in order to involve partners. Awards, because sometimes it isn't just the thought that counts. Note, in order to establish an overall budget, we need to agree the number of miles or points we can afford to issue over a period and the eventual value of each mile or point. Initially, each participant will receive 10 miles just for registering. That, as I've said before, gets them on the reward ladder early. Note that participants do not receive reward unless they exceed target on a monthly basis, regardless of whether or not they are the best performer that month. In this way, we ensure that incremental business pays for the cost of the program. In the past, we have staggered the award points at 10% over target, 20% over target, 30% over target, etc. The higher the percentage achievement, the greater the number of points or miles they earn. But participants always have to exceed target. Consistent over target performance also receives bonuses. The awards catalogue will be online for physical, experimental, or debit card awards. And individuals will be able to spend their points at will and receive an updated bank account statement online. We could also give general managers and regional directors the ability to award discretionary points or miles to individual participants for, say, glowing customer feedback. Again, these regional directors would be able to make these awards automatically through the back end of the incentive website, but only for their direct reports. At the end of the program, the best amongst equals and their partners will earn an overseas trip. These past examples show Moscow and Star City, top left, Bermuda on the right, and France, bottom left. Note that, subject to location, we can still do overseas trips in a socially distanced way. Point 9, recognition. A recognition element as part of a sales incentive program is hugely important to give participants feedback and recognition for their performance. The best amongst equals must have their day in the limelight through recognition. Recognition in this scenario is ad hoc and designed to be given by colleagues to colleagues, up, down, and sideways. Recognition must be public, so when one participant recognizes another, a copy of that electronic recognition automatically goes to the recipient's manager. Awards for those recognized must also be public, on the sales floor, at the site, with everyone at the site present, presided over by the GM. Now, with the example here, the electronic recognition is given by one person to another, and when the person receives it, he or she sees an envelope flipping over and gradually coming towards the screen. The envelope opens, and out of the envelope pops the recognition, which actually gives details of who is recognized and details of what the recognition was for. This recognition can be printed and retained, and the recipient also gets additional points or miles into their bank account for being recognized. Now, with recognition must come a physical award, but not money. An award such as just a plaque or certificate or even a bottle of champagne, something small but significant. Plus, of course, a picture of the recipient could go into the online newsletter circulated as a link to all in the company. Point 10, reporting. Every participant has his or her own page on the incentive program website. Each participant can access his or her own results, bank account of miles showing how well he or she is doing, what has been earned and what has been spent. The participant will also see how he or she is performing against their peers. Each general manager or regional director can access their own website page, plus the pages of their reports, plus how their site or region is performing against other sites in the region and nationally. Board members can access everyone's results. Board members can also interrogate the system right across the network. Participants will also receive email or text reminders of miles earnings, monthly winners, positions by site, district or region to keep them on their toes. Nobody wants to be seen to be consistently at the bottom of the pile, and therefore leapfrogging occurs, resulting in performance improvement. Point 11, distance learning. Each program must have a distance learning element because this reinforces good habit. Distance learning programs work because this quality measure can be used as a quality multiplier of quantity performance. That is, if a participant earns 200 miles, he or she has to score 100% in the distance learning questionnaire in order to retain all their miles. For example, if the participant had a quality score of 85%, this would be multiplied by their quantity sales earnings of, say, 200 points. So 200 times 85% equals 170 miles and not 200. In a 4-month program, there will be 4 questionnaires. The reason is If a participant fouls up on the first questionnaire, he or she will get another chance to make good the following month. They will not be penalised for the full 4 months. As people learn by imitation and repetition, it is important to arrive at the correct answer and therefore learn through questions couched differently. Our last key point, point 12, program duration. Incentive programs should be of 3 or 4 months duration. Why? Because maintaining energy and interest over a longer period is very difficult. And it is not motivational to keep participants waiting 12 months for a major prize. So if programs are to last 12 months, we recommend that this period is broken down into 3 or 4 monthly mini-programs. Each program is self-contained but a part of the whole. So while we may change the look, feel, and prizes of each program, we will retain the structure. So, in launching the Let's Take Action incentive program, we should keep in mind that it should be broken down into 3 mini self-contained programs as shown on this slide. Let's Take Action is the overarching theme, and there are 3 sub-themes: action stations, chain reaction, a piece of the action. But there are cautionary notes. Do not assume that reward is the most important thing in a sales improvement or incentive program. It isn't. The most important thing is communication. Next in importance is measuring and monitoring. Finally, it's reward, because sometimes it isn't just the thought that counts. During the course of any program, you should over-communicate by 1,000%. We have run sales incentive programs without reward, but we have never run them without communication. Regular at that. So in summary, consult with participants and get buy-in. Create a dynamic theme for the incentive program. Cascade launched the program for efficacy. This reinforces buy-in. Set the measurement level and the currency for the program, as I mentioned to you earlier. Create the measurement structure. Measure by site, by district, by region, nationally. Note that the power of self-registration into the program. Create an incentive launch pack which ensures uniform communication. Have structured awards. And I'll say it again because sometimes it isn't just the thought that counts. Introduce recognition within the incentive program. Keep reporting up to date and regularly. Use distance learning questionnaires to reinforce good habit. And make sure the program duration is short and sharp. The final thing I want to show you is what happens when you do things correctly. This is a 5-year case study. It's a case study between British Gas and First National Electricity Finance. British Gas was selling products like radiators and boilers on finance, but they were only turning over £5 million in a 4-month period. In the first month, we took the turnover from 5 million to 10.9 million in the first year. In the second year, that went to 33.5 million. Third year, 51.8 million. The fourth year dropped a bit to 42 million, but that was because that program only lasted 3 months and not 4. And in year 5, the total increased again to 72 million. Now, just to reassure you, we have never in 30 years run a sales incentive program that delivered incremental business of less than 13% over target. Now, at this point in time, we've come to the end of our presentation, but of course, I would like to answer questions if you have them. So if you would like to send through any questions now, I could take them live. And I see I have the first one, which is, how do you know you can deliver an increase of 13% over target? Now, the answer to that is actually pretty simple. In something like 30 years, we have never, ever delivered less than 13% over target with any sales incentive program for any client. And we've worked with Polo Ralph Lauren, Virgin, we've worked with British Gas, First National Electricity Finance, GE Money, etc. We have never delivered less than 13%. So we argue that if that is our base rate, we ought to be able to deliver that on an ongoing basis. Now, what other questions are coming through? Another question that's come through is, with the sales incentive program, I have argued that the cost of this sales incentive program will come out of incremental business, which actually means that the program has cost you nothing. And my argument is this: if we have delivered incremental business of, I don't know, for argument's sake, £500,000, and the program has cost you £100,000, then you have net £400,000 of incremental business. So that in effect, which is a business you haven't had before, so in effect, the program has cost you nothing at all. Now, I don't know if anyone else has any questions. At the moment, there are none on my screen. No? Let me see. Okay. Well, that appears to be all. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back, as we said in the intro, with 2 more webinars. One will be on hybrid and virtual conferencing, and the other will be on team building events, virtually delivered, of course. And those will be coming up in the next 2 to 4 weeks. So please join us for that. We will let you know when that will be happening. And we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.